When we got on Netflix, like the first day, we were in the top 5. And we were just like, how does this happen?
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm not normally a big fan of found footage, but they do it so perfectly with this movie. It's so unnerving.
Not normal is asking your PA to gun it down the 405,
right,
chasing a truck-stealing ring headed by a hot felon, and literally, like, encircling them outside McDonald's at 4 in the morning.
Well, welcome in. It's a brand new year of Fright Club. This is the Fright Club podcast, and she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And we're from madwolf.com. You know, every new year now, it's 2023, every new year I used to make that joke about how long until we stop writing 2022 on our checks, but nobody writes checks anymore.
No, I cannot remember the last time I wrote a check.
So I guess that doesn't apply, but how long until we say 2023? It's going to sound weird, but we'll get used to it. But we have a whole new year of great movies to look forward to.
We do.
And great movies to talk about. And we have to say that this 2023 marks the 10th year of madwolf.com.
It does.
Which is amazing to me.
The 9th year of Fright Club.
The 9th year of Fright Club. Yeah, because those who don't know, we were writing for a newspaper here in Columbus, Ohio, that got shut down, unfortunately, as many newspapers have had that happen. And we took it online to madwolf.com 10 years ago.
Crazy.
And then 9 years ago started Fright Club. So thank you, by the way. Thank you for listening and for supporting. It has been an incredible ride, and we've been able to grow it thanks to great listeners and supporters and people that love these movies as much as we do. So, again, thank you so much. You've really enabled us to do this.
Yes, enablers.
Yeah, in a good way, and keep it coming. So, it's a lot of fun, and not only the great listeners and great Fright Clubbers, but the great guests that we've had on over the years, and boy, that continues today. We've got a couple of great guests who really, they proposed this topic.
Yes, they did, and I was going to take credit for it, but now I can't. You've outed me, so.
Yeah, Alok Mishra, the producer, and Naomi Grossman, co-star of the movie 1BR, One Bedroom, has had fantastic success, more than they ever imagined, which is always a great Cinderella story to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot more because there's some great behind-the-scenes stuff to get into about this movie. So we'll do that here. They're standing by just a couple of minutes. We want to say a quick thank you for all the feedback about our best of list from 2022. Had a couple of nitpicks there because we said for our purposes, we didn't consider Prey or The Menu horror movies. That's why they weren't on our list. Now, some people disagree, and that's great.
It is.
Because
of course,
we love the movies.
And we had to leave some off.
Right. Had to leave. We love both those movies. Just for us, it wasn't horror, but that's good. Thank you for all the feedback, though. We always appreciate that. I think most people, the list was okay. They were kind. Exactly. It's really, especially getting the last 3 or 4 there at the top. Hard to argue. There's some great, great films. And so many great ones came out in 2022. And thankfully, so many. How many times did we say you can see them on Shudder?
Right.
Many times.
God bless Shudder.
Yeah. For always be there for. There's so many to catch. So thank you for the feedback there as we look ahead to a brand new year of Fright Clubs that starts right now. So the topic today is apartment horror and movies that are even scarier than the thought of trying to find someone to help you move into a new apartment, which is tough. And we've got a couple of great special guests to help us count these down and talk about. Actually, we'll talk about their movie, the movie that's at number 5 on our list, and that is from 2019. It's a woman trying to start anew in L.A., but her neighbors are not what they seem. This is One Bedroom, or 1BR.
You got it. We're neighbors. Hey, listen, we're having a barbecue. You should come.
Welcome. We'd like to make this place feel like a real neighborhood.
And we all kind of take care of each other here.
What are you doing?
Run. Run. Help! I need help! How could you do this? I just want to go. Please. Please, I just want to go home.
This is your home.
And we welcome in from One Bedroom producer Alok Mishra and co-star Naomi Grossman. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Hello.
So excited to have you here. And truth be told, this was not my topic.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Alok suggested this topic, which is a great one. And there were so many really fun movies to kind of parse through to come up with these. But one of the reasons that we're doing this particular podcast right now is that One Bedroom, which for a tiny budget movie, was such a massive success. #1 on Netflix. Everybody loved this.
Yeah.
We watched it at Nightmares Film Festival.
Yeah.
Just a great movie, super fun.
So congrats on your success, first of all.
Oh, we appreciate that. I mean, it's a little film that could.
And actually, this is a big time for you right now, right? The first of the year has a brand new way to see the movie.
Yeah, it's going to be available on all what they call AVOD platforms, or ad-supported platforms like Tubi and Freevee, and also Peacock, Plex, Pluto TV, Roku, Vudu TV, Exomo TV as well. I want to say there's like seven, 8 of them that it's going to be on, and so they're going to be basically free. You don't have to have a subscription. You just got to watch some ads when you watch the actual movie. And I'll be honest, I actually watch quite a few shows on these different networks, and the ads are very minimal. I mean, they're so short that you can't even go use the bathroom and come back. You're like, oh, well, stop the movie pretty much because they're so short. So, but yeah, it's going to be available basically for free. It's for the people, and you don't need a subscription. You need a subscription, but you don't need to pay anything for it.
Right.
So it's sort of a wonderful opportunity to expose more people to the movie. We're excited.
Well, this is great. Just another round of your success. And we're going to talk about in the movie. We don't want to spoil anything, obviously, for anybody that has yet to see it, and we do recommend it. But Naomi, I was thinking about your character, and she ends up being sort of pivotal toward the end because how do I say this? When Sarah, the main character, makes the choice that she makes, it's Janice who lets us know how the rest of the group feels about that.
Yes. I don't want to spoil anything. But yes, I'm one of those neighbors you talked about that is not what she seems.
What do you think? I mean, when you read the script, what about it was appealing to you?
Well, honestly, Alok and I have known each other forever. We've been friends before, he was a producer, and I was an actor. I just wasn't having any success at it. No one really knew I was an actor except my mom. So, honestly, that's what really appealed to me, being able to, work with my friends. But, of course, it's also just really well written. Mm-hmm. You can't imagine how many awfully written scripts I read. And, I always say it's like the blueprint for the house. My dad's an architect. And if you don't have a solid plan, the house is not going to stand. And this is a really solid plan. I could see the movie, right out of the gate. And that's important.
Yeah, well, a couple of things that I liked about it. First of all, it ends up being metaphorical, which I always like.
Right.
And also by the end, the certain characters are not who you thought they were at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's life, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's actually kind of meta in a way because it came out during COVID, right? Mm-hmm. And the whole idea of sort of social responsibility, are you vaxxed, are you not vaxxed, are you wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, can you trust your neighbors? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Became sort of a weird thing, I think, that we didn't, obviously expect or could predict, but it actually became sort of part of the landscape, and people were trapped inside their houses, and well, why not watch a movie about not trusting your neighbor?
It is funny that, there are a lot of horror films about sort of the horrors of living in an apartment and set there, but it's funny how much more of an impact they have post-lockdown. Mm-hmm. It's not as if they were prescient. They didn't realize that we would have this sort of trauma about being stuck in our homes, but it is funny when you look back on them now, they take on a different tone, I think. And I wanted to point out, because George mentioned this off the air, that one of the things that got us into podcasting years ago was actually American Horror Story. We were hired by this startup to do a podcast about a TV show. We didn't watch a lot of TV shows, but we chose American Horror Story because we wanted to watch that one. It is a great series. And you, Naomi, were one of the stars of that show.
Indeed, I was.
That must have been super fun. Was that super fun to make?
Oh, yeah. Again, if you can't work with dear old friends like Alok at least work with like the best people working in television today or in the history of television.
Oh my God, Jessica Lange. Jessica Lange is the coolest human being on earth, isn't she?
Oh yeah. She's a legend.
Yeah.
I mean, she's one of those people that you just never unclench your butt around. That was my experience. Now when you go back and binge the show, you'll be like, Pepper is seems real tight.
Man, I love getting this behind the scenes stuff. This is great.
Well, I'll tell you the funniest thing is that Jessica Lange was on Seth Meyers' show, right? And Seth Meyers went to school with Naomi at Northwestern.
Oh.
And Seth Meyers says to her, like, "Oh, you know, you're starting your show. You have one of my classmates, Naomi Grossman." And in typical Jessica Lange fashion, she's like, "Who?"
I mean, she knew who I was. I think she just was a little shocked that here she was all the way, on the Tonight Show talking about Pepper,
Right?
Like, we should be talking about her. Come on. Talk about meta moments. Like Elsa Mars was like, huh?
Well, talking about behind the scenes stuff, and I didn't realize this, but Hope was just telling me the other day when we were getting ready for this podcast that you guys really went through some last minute, obstacles to jump over, some hoops to jump through to get this done.
Oh, yeah. Alok could write a book. In fact, he has written an article in, I think, Movie Maker magazine.
Yes.
I mean, everything from, like, losing pretty much all the cast. Like, I was the only cast member that didn't get the memo to quit on his last minute, to, a stolen truck of equipment, to braving forest fires. They were literally having to, like, Google Earth our production office to make sure it was still there.
That's
I mean, it was
crazy.
like cuckoo. In fact, I'm told there's supposedly a sequel in the works, but if not, like, you could make a horror movie about making this horror movie. I mean, really.
Yeah.
So, Alok, where does this stand, though, on the productions that you've worked on? Was this atypical, all these obstacles, or just kind of the norm?
Well, to be fair, this is my first movie that I ever produced.
Oh.
I was producer along with a great team of producers. I was an investor. I may have allegedly mortgaged and already paid off house to make this movie.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes. But it was tough because I used to test movies for a living. I did market research for film for 18 years.
Okay.
And so I finally got sick of doing that, and I wanted to finally make a movie of my own. And so this was our first film. So to be fair, I have, besides doing short films back in the day, let's say, I have not much to compare it to. I just was like, this is production is a horrible experience, especially if you're dealing with all this nonsense in the background. But I mean, happily, there was many times that ship could have been sunk, but we just sort of went on and went forward with it and trusted ourselves. And we had a great partner and our writer director David Marmer, who's also a producer on it. He put money in for it too, just as much as we did and stuff. And we had to endure not only a 15-day shoot, which is super short.
Yeah.
But then we didn't really have the ending we wanted. And again, this is a nice piece of advice for anybody who's making a movie. Why don't you give yourself 20 days? Not 15. Give yourself 20 days.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get everything you need in, so you don't have to go back and do expensive reshoots, which we had to. So we actually came back. We shot 2017 around December. And purposely so, because you can get people cheap in December because I'm a money-grubbing producer, and so we came back to do reshoots in summer of 2018, and actually the end of summer was the beginning of September, I want to say. Ill-timed, I'll say this, because Naomi Grossman had been nominated for an Emmy, and how does this happen? And we had to shoot.
Hasn't happened since, Alok. You're off the hook the next Emmy nom I get. Okay. But until then, I'm gonna be bitter about this.
Yeah, I mean, look, she couldn't go to the gifting suites and get trips to Barbados, I guess, right? And
never been to Barbados.
Yes. So when she came back to do our crappy little movie, and very sweetly so, and we shot for another 4 days and actually shot 2 different endings for the movie, and we were able to get the one we really did want.
Ah.
And so yeah, in total 19 days, and then we didn't actually debut the movie. We kept on working on it, and we didn't debut until the next summer, actually, till July 2019, where we world premiered at Fantasia, and we had a great festival run. And then we were supposed to come out April 2020, and like we were sitting there in March, and we were like, "What's this COVID thing? Oh, this will all blow over.
Right.
Yeah.
No problem. We'll be fine." By the middle of March, we are like, we are fucked.
Yeah.
We are like,
Yeah.
Sorry if I can't curse or whatever.
Oh, no.
You're
Yeah, we
fine.
do it.
I have a filthy mouth, as Naomi will tell you. Like, her
Well, my
hates
mom
when I
would
curse
tell
on
you.
the podcast. She listens to every one of these, and she's like, "Why does he have to curse?" I'm expressing myself.
I mean, she's an English teacher. She,
Sure.
She believes in you, Alok. You can do that.
I don't know why. But look. So what happened is that we came out in April 2020, and Netflix had rejected us twice. They didn't want to take the movie, but then we did very well on VOD, and we're like, look at these numbers. And they said to us, like, all right, we'll take you. We'll give you very little money, but we'll take you. So we were like, okay, great. So we got onto Netflix, and the whole summer we actually kept on doing interviews and podcasts and everything else just to kind of keep the awareness of the movie up. And when we got onto Netflix, like the first day, we were in the top 5, and we were just like, how does this happen?
Nice.
Yeah.
And every day it kept on going up until that Friday we reached number 1.
Amazing.
And we beat Jamie Foxx's Project Power. Like it's an $80 million movie gets taken down by a SAG ultra low budget. You know what I mean? So we actually tweeted him. We were like, "Listen, game recognizes game. Sorry to take you out, dog." He didn't respond.
No. Well, that's.
But it was very, very much a Rocky moment, and we were very triumphant, and like this little movie could do something, on that level and everything, and so it was.
Yeah.
It was. I gotta admit, I did cry that day.
Oh.
Well,
So,
congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. But we wouldn't have done it unless we had without the team that we had. Like our writer director, Dave Marmer, is amazing, and everyone from the cinematographer to like all the actors. I mean, we were so lucky. Like, we're saying that we lost our cast, 3 days before shooting, and we did. And Nicole Bryden Bloom came in with like 3 hours of rehearsal with David Marmer. That was it, and just knocked it out of the park. I mean, all the actors, Naomi, Taylor Nichols, Giles Maddie, who plays Brian, and Clayton Hoff, who plays Lester. I mean, all of them were just so good. I mean, like we would only have 1 or 2 takes. We would only have that much time. And they would get it in the first take. It was just like, it was amazing. And everyone was very family.
That's normal,
oriented.
actually. What's not normal is asking your PA to gun it down the 405,
right,
chasing a truck-stealing ring headed by a hot felon and literally encircling them outside McDonald's at 4 a.m, which was later, by the way, on Cops. I'm not even kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
There were certain things that are just movie making, like hitting your marks and crying on cue. That's what we do. But then there were serious obstacles that are not normal at all.
Yeah, for people who aren't aware of it, one of your PAs was sitting in the parking lot and saw someone steal one of your production trucks and called the police, but followed the truck, didn't let the truck out of his sight until the police arrived because they stopped at a McDonald's or something, right?
Wow.
Well, he chased them from freeway to freeway, and he was refusing to stand down. And the cops are just the 911 dispatcher's like, "Listen, sir, just calm down. I need you to stand down. Don't chase this guy. We don't want you to get hurt." And he's like, "I will not stand down. I will not stand down until the cops are behind this truck." And so at this point, it's now a televised high-speed chase, right?
Wow.
What happens is that once they get
but that's also very normal in LA. We watch the way the rest of the country watches, I don't know, American Horror Story. We just watch high-speed chases on our. It's a thing,
it's true.
actually.
It's true. So what happens is that this guy gets to the 110 freeway where the iconic Felix sign is. I don't know if you've ever seen that thing before. It's very iconic. But right then, 3 cars rush in, cop cars rush in, and a helicopter spotlight goes down on the truck. And so this guy panics and tries to get off the freeway. He's near USC. And he tries to gun it, and he destroys the engine. And finally, he's caught at a McDonald's/Chevron gas station. And I tell you this, they always say the cops are bad news, they're gonna abuse you or whatever else. They were so nice to this motherfucker that But he was a very good-looking guy too. Was the weird thing, right? That's why like Naomi calls him the handsome felon. But we kind of made up a story about him. We're like, oh my gosh, he's just an out-of-work actor who just took the wrong gig. And he actually was. This is a truck stealing ring that's never been caught before, and he was new to the ring. So I guess he turned over on them or whatever. I've never.
This is another movie waiting to happen
Right.
here.
All I know is I've never been paid any restitution from that motherfucker. He didn't pay like deductible, like $2,500 deductible if you fucked up the
He
truck
needs
so
to
bad.
work it off in like a sex scene with me. In the
Well, I have pictured him being kind of a monkey butler to the sequel, perhaps. So like, he could do whatever we want. We have him for X amount of dollars, whatever. But yes, he is a handsome fella, and not to plug it, but this Arrest actually is actually on the American Blu-ray. If you get the American Blu-ray, we talk about this whole episode at Fantasia during the Q&A, and they show the footage of this guy being arrested. So if you want to check the handsome felon out, then you just got to pick up the Blu-ray.
Wow.
It's worth it,
there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Amazing.
Amen. Yeah, no. They didn't, but this, literally, I want to say they pushed our call by like an hour. This didn't even affect them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they
we-
didn't even tell us. They didn't even tell David until, I think they told David at like the cast, or at the rap party. But it wasn't until Fantasia that they told the cast.
Wow. Indie filmmaking, man.
Yeah.
I
Well, we didn't
know.
want-
It
we
was
wanted them to think
impressive.
about- We wanted them to concentrate on the acting. We didn't want to, them freaking out
Sure.
about what had gone
Concentrating on the
during
handsome
night.
felon.
I mean, right? You would have been salivating. I was sitting there during production watching the video on my phone of the arrest and stuff because it had gone up
Amazing.
already, like on the news and stuff.
All right. Well, you mentioned the idea of a sequel. We're going to come back to that. We want to get to that. But this is One Bedroom is number 5 on our list of apartment horror. So we're going to roll through the rest of the countdown and come back and talk about the sequel and what else is going on with One Bedroom. So that's number 5. Let's move up to number 4 from 2007. This is a television reporter and cameraman following emergency workers into a dark apartment building and are quickly locked inside with something terrifying, the original Wreck.
I don't know anything about this movie, but I've been told. Is it Spanish? It's from Spain, right?
Yeah. It's Spanish. Actually, they've made 4 of these movies in Spain, and the first one was remade like almost a shot-for-shot remake of the Spanish one, and it's done by the Dowell brothers, who are great filmmakers. They did Poughkeepsie tapes and stuff. But the American version is called Quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular film, Wreck, actually. Was a monster hit for these filmmakers, and it really did put them on the map, and it really did establish a kind of almost found footage zombie sort of franchise. Like I said, there's I think there's 4 of them. I don't know if they're making another one as well, but I mean, totally recommend this film. It really does have some great brutality, and even the second movie actually is a very interesting thing where it goes from being a zombie movie into kind of being something else, which is just so groundbreaking and interesting. But, I definitely think if you haven't seen it, I think it's actually, come to say, on Tubi, one of those AVOD platforms that I mentioned before. you can watch it. You can watch it for free on there. But it's a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, it's great. And if you have seen it, check out the sequel because the second one especially is just mind blowing.
Yeah, and it's one of the rare instances where the English language version is very much worth seeing. I know it's not as good as Wreck. I think that it misses the religious undertones that the original has toward the end that I think makes it a little bit more unnerving than your run-of-the-mill zombie film. Mm-hmm. But I do really like the English language. Quarantine I thought was a great movie.
I do too.
But I'm not normally a big fan of found footage, but they do it so perfectly with this movie. It's so unnerving, and it's such a fun house of a film, you know, where you're running through an apartment building and they're oh my God, don't open that door. It's just you are on the edge of your seat with every single second of the movie. And I love, it's got a couple of odes, I think, to the original Night of the Living Dead. which I'm not going to give away if you haven't seen it. But on the whole, I think that while it is a zombie movie, it's so unique, or at least it was at the time, in the way that it handles everything. And you know, in 2007, that's saying something, because by 2007 we'd already had generations of zombie movies.
Yeah.
So for them to do something that fresh and that genuinely scary was so fun.
Oh yeah, they do a great job with the confines, the dark corners, and you're scanning the frame for what am I going to see something there, and before you get jump scared. And the jump scares are good, and the integrity of the found footage concept is good as well. So but I liked Quarantine as well. So Wreck is the one we're talking about from 2007, number 4. An apartment horror. And number 3, this is one from just last year, a sequel to the classic film Candyman that returns to the now gentrified Chicago neighborhood where the legend began. Nia DaCosta's Candyman.
I think I made a mistake. I brought him back.
Candyman isn't real!
Something's happening to me.
He had a purpose for you. Be another one of his terrible stories.
I guess he found me. I am the writing on the wall. The sweet smell of blood. Be my victim.
This is not real. It's not real.
I'm sorry. I have to defer to Alok. Alok sees everything, so I don't have to. I'm kind of an imposter. Like, I say that I slipped and fell into a horror hole, but I really don't belong down here. I'm like a comedy girl. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to bite the hand that feeds me. Like, I love horror because horror loves me. But I didn't go into I haven't seen a lot of horror movies, believe it or not. It's not that I don't love them. I just, I wasn't exposed as a kid. So.
Well, the funny thing is you're good friends with Tony Todd because of the horror stuff.
Oh.
Well, all of us horror icons hang out on the weekends at, horror cons.
Right.
So, yes, you're right. I do know all kinds of, behind the scenes Tony Todd horrors, but not nothing on screen, unfortunately.
This is such a fantastic sequel, I think, because not only is it a great film in its own right, but by the end, it makes you think about the first one in a different way. And the first one is already great, but by the end of this one, you're just reassessing the first film as well. And I loved it.
Yeah, either one of them could have been on this list of apartment horror. And one of the reasons that the sequel is on the list instead of the original is that it's so much more confined. It speaks specifically to the gentrification of the neighborhood and where they're living. Like the space where they live is a major theme of the film, which is why I chose it. It's also just a brilliant movie. And the way that DaCosta shoots the apartments from the outside, looking in it through the windows, or looking at each other through the mirrors. I mean, the way that she makes not just the main apartment, but all of the different apartments that you enter, they become such noticeable spaces. Like the confines are so clearly a part of what she's saying that I just found it astonishing. She'd only made one other film before, which we love, Little Woods, but it's not a horror film. It's just an indie sort of, kind of a thriller sort of, I suppose. But it's the way that she embraced this genre and did something visually so stunning, along with doing something that was scary and that really had something important to say. But it's such a gorgeous movie.
God, it is. It is.
Yeah, I agree. It's designed, the way it's shot, is really interesting. I think that Jordan Peele, his company, helped out quite a lot with this particular film. And I think you see some of, his intelligence when it comes to horror sort of baked into this film for sure. But it was definitely I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, to be fair, actually, and I did enjoy it, actually.
Yeah, and with this film, Nia DaCosta became the first black female director to be number 1 at the box office.
Nice.
When this in its second day of release. So yeah, I love this Candyman sequel from just last year, and that's number 3 on our apartment horror list. So moving up to number 2, the classic from 1968. A young couple trying for a baby moves into an aging, ornate apartment building on Central Park West, where they find themselves surrounded by peculiar neighbors. Rosemary's Baby.
What have you done to it? What have you done to its eyes?
He has his father's eyes.
What are you talking about? Guys' eyes are normal. What have
Satan is his father, not Guy. Hail Adrian! Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
I feel like I have to talk about this one because I've actually seen it.
Yay!
Yay! I have seen, like, yes, classics from, like, the 60s I've seen, but, like, you know, don't ask me what's happening right now. Never heard of Taylor Swift or anything, but, you know, I could tell you all about Bach and Brahms. This is one of my favorite movies ever, actually. I just love the aesthetic, the whole 60s, mid-century modern, everything from, you know, the architecture to the haircuts to the fashion. And it, well, again, maybe as a female story, I find it kind of relatable. I find a lot of horror to be kind of macho, you know, guys wearing hockey masks, wielding power tools. And this is like just, you know, a pregnant lady. Like, I don't know. I guess I feel like, listen, I'm not a breeder myself for that very reason. Like, I think there's something really terrifying of the idea of like a living thing that has got to come out at some point. And what is it going to be? Like, what if it is, you know, what if you are birthing the next Jeffrey Dahmer? You know what I mean? Like, you don't get to choose these things.
Yeah, and it makes her so. Mia Farrow, not only her stature, she's small, but the haircut and the pregnancy it makes her so vulnerable throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, she's just the picture of vulnerability. And it's interesting to me. I feel like watching One Bedroom. It seems to me that Rosemary's Baby might have been a big inspiration for that film. Am I imagining that?
No, David Marmor said that Roman Polanski, that he has kind of an apartment trilogy, I guess to say. It was definitely an influence on him, and he has said that in many other interviews. So, yeah, you're not too far off the mark there at all.
Yeah, so it is worth noting that Polanski did 3 really very apartment-oriented. The apartment trilogy. One was Repulsion, which is another really great movie, and then the other is The Tenant, which is good, but it's not nearly as good as these 3.
Right.
As the other 2. But you know what I'm realizing now? We should have, when we did the time loop horror, that should have been in that. But anyway, but yeah, he mined the confines of the apartment and the weirdos that you're close to, and how you kind of have to take them on as your new family of sorts. For the discomfort, all the discomfort he could find. Also, I think that the cinematography in Rosemary's Baby is just unbelievably great. The way that shots are framed so that you feel yourself leaning so that you can get a better look, at what's happening around the corner. Oh, my God. It's amazingly well laid out.
And, of course, it features that iconic performance from Ruth Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about Peculiar Neighbors.
And when we're introduced to her, of course, it's through the peephole, which is just perfect for an apartment horror.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. I remember watching this at the USC Cinema Library and finishing the movie and coming outside, and I was like scared during the day. It was one of the first times I had been scared during the day, where I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, that really got to me.
Yeah.
I had to go get a coffee or something just to calm down because I was freaked out. Like, just whatever. It was definitely.
I remember when I was cast in American Horror Story Apocalypse, I was told that I would be playing a Satanist. And so, of course, I went back and saw that movie.
Nice.
And especially because at the time, and this actually changed in the course of it, but I was actually to play this, like, socialite Satanist that was actually, like, married into the Satanic Church. And in the 60s, like an actual Satanist from history. And so I remember reading the Satanic Bible, like, floating around on a floaty toy in my pool, and wondering, every time a neighbor would walk by, I'd quick try to like hide the book because I didn't want them thinking like, that I'm a Satanist, like living in the building, like literally I'm that lazy through the peephole. Like, really, I'm not. I'm just
your mini Castavet. Look out!
Play one on TV.
Well, she's trying to summon the ghost of Peter Lawford. Because, he lived. He was the last. That was the last place he lived with her townhouse.
Wow. That is so
true.
Cool.
Connection to the Rat Pack.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I, inked the deed, I had fantasies of all the starlets skinny dipping in this pool, but no, I'm told that this was actually like, this was the end for him. He only lived here a year, and a lot of that year he spent at the Betty Ford Center having cocaine helicoptered in to the. Just like you do at Betty.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, his wife also got mad, and he had a penis pump, and threw his penis pump in the garbage in a dumpster, and he went into the dumpster to get the penis pump, which was amazing, right?
Well, who hasn't had that happen? I mean, come on.
I mean, certain point, they could only take so much.
Well, that's Rosemary's Baby number 2. But before we get to our number 1, we've got a decent list of ones that almost made.
Yeah, and you probably are wondering if how is Rosemary's Baby number 2? There's a good reason. There's a good reason. We have a great number 1, but before we get to that, I do want to. There are so many great movies. There are some just sort of throwaway fun movies. Troll, Demons 2, Critters 3, young Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Poltergeist 3, and then some sincerely good ones. The original Dark Water, The Djinn, Citadel, nice Irish horror right there. The Sentinel, of course, the classic The Sentinel. Satan's Slaves Communion. Which is on Shudder right now. It's a great one. Really, really great, creepy use of an apartment building. Night Eats the World, which I really like. Came out a few years ago. It's a great one.
That. Yeah.
And then on streaming right now, Something in the Dirt, which we just saw a couple weeks ago.
The new one from Benson and Moorhead. Yeah.
So those are all. If you're digging in, you think, what else? What else is going to creep me out inside my house? These will do it.
All right. But that takes us up to our favorite, our number 1 on this list, and this is from 2016. A mother and daughter struggle to cope with the terrors of the post-revolution, war-torn Tehran of the 1980s. A mysterious evil begins to haunt their home. This is Under the Shadow.
Yeah, great film. I think didn't it premiere at Sundance? I want to say.
I think it did. Yeah.
I think it was in the midnight section. That's how old I am, that I remember.
Yeah, this is really, really effective. How it builds the tension. It features some fantastic shots as things ramp up a little bit. But the terror between the mother and the child and what may be happening, really, really effective. And as the threats to their person and, of course, their building with the war-torn situation outside increase as well.
Yeah, I mean, the way that the political allegory is worked into this film is just seamless, and it's it's very spooky to begin with in a way that you're sort of used to. It's a mother and a child, and the child has sort of an imaginary friend who she might rather have for her mom. And so there's that anxiety there, what is this creepy entity? But the fact that it kind of takes the shape of this flapping burqa is so alarming. I mean, it's so, and that it's in the 80s. The mother, she can't finish medical school because of the revolution, and now she has to stay at home with her daughter, and so she has some resentment because and then there's a missile that lands but doesn't explode, and it's just literally a ticking time bomb in the center of their building, not unlike Del Toro's analogy in The Devil's Backbone. But everything about this movie is so beautifully put together and so unnerving and so gorgeously filmed. And I think that it's underseen, certainly. We're hoping to get to show it at Fright Club Live at some point in 2023, so that if you haven't seen it, you can get the chance to. But it's just one that I feel like not nearly enough people have seen. It's just a masterpiece.
Yeah, the writer-director is Babak Anvari. I hope I pronounced that right. But, really like that. Now, you've seen this, Alok?
Yes. I think it's on Netflix, I believe, too.
Oh, great.
I think that's
crazy how, Alok is like, I saw it back in the day when I was, youngster at Sundance. And it sounds relevant now. It sounds like something that you could watch on the news.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
very much so.
Yeah, it's really
everything that's going on in Iran right now.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, or the Ukraine for that matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's very timely still.
Yeah,
not that far afield for the U.S. right now, to be honest with you. So
still sadly relevant. That is number 1, Under the Shadow, and it flew. Not to be flippant, but it was kind of under the radar as well back at the time. But that is one to seek out. All right, that is number one on our list of apartment horror. But let's go back and talk about when we were talking about One Bedroom earlier. You guys both mentioned the thoughts of a sequel, and anytime a movie is successful, that question is going to come up. So what can you tell us?
Well,
you can't kill a good horror film.
Right.
Well, we just got the script for the sequel.
Ooh.
Last Friday. I've read it 3 times. We actually, my producing partner, Shane Borster, myself had a meeting with David Marmer on last Wednesday, I want to say. And we are trying to put the pieces together to hopefully shoot this thing in the spring, or if not late spring. So our hope is to maybe have it ready for next October or next January. We're trying to figure out the timing on it right now. But with the success of like Terrifier 2 and the lack of good movies in cinemas, we feel like this may have a theatrical release for sure.
Ooh.
We're very interested to see if people are willing to come out and actually not watch it on Netflix, but watch it in the theater. And I think they are, because we have a good authority that a lot of people have seen the movie on Netflix. I can't say why I know or what I know, but I can say that a lot of people have seen the film. So we feel like there is definitely an audience that wants to see the next chapter, if you will. So I wish I could tell you more about it, but we got the J.J. Abrams things in terms of keeping it quiet until it just springs upon you,
Sure.
whenever it comes out, But it's going to be a much bigger film, and we're going to see more of this 1BR universe unfold. And I think you're going to like where it goes, because it's definitely going to, I think, it's shocking, it's provocative, it also has a commentary on society again, and it really is going to be very interesting to see what happens next. That's all I can tell you.
Nice.
So tell us again about where people can find this.
Well, it's going to be on all these great AVOD platforms, in particular Tubi and Freevee, which is Amazon's AVOD platform. And it's also going to be on Pluto TV, Roku TV, Peacock. It's going to be on Vudu. It's going to be on Xumo, Xumo. I don't know how to say it. And also Plex is the other one. So it'll be available, pretty much anywhere you want for free. If you're willing to watch a couple commercials and stuff, you'll be able to watch it without a subscription. It's also on Shudder is the other place you can find it as well.
That's our favorite.
And, Shudder. I mean, Shudder's the best money spent. I mean,
They're great.
Yes, that's exactly true.
I mean, it's like half the price of a beer in Los Angeles. So you get all this amazing content that's just, and they're so good at curating and everything. I mean, they do a great job. But anyway, you can find it on Shudder. But please, if you want to make the filmmakers some money, and Naomi over there who has some points on the movie, go watch it on Tubi or Freevee, because they pay us the most money as far as I can tell.
Ooh,
all right.
Okay, good to know.
Okay, well, Alok Mishra, producer of 1BR, Naomi Grossman, Janice in 1BR. Tell us where we can find you guys on socials.
I'm at Naomi W. Grossman. I'm verified, so you'll look for the blue check mark, and that's me.
And we are 1BR_film on Twitter. And we're also, if you look up, 1BR on Facebook, we have a Facebook page too. But Twitter is where we're most active. We're also on Instagram, but really Twitter is still where we're sort of most active as of now. So yeah, please come
even
follow
in spite
us.
of everything, Alok. I think
I know.
1BR might be the only person other than now Donald Trump that's on Twitter anymore.
I mean, it might be. I feel
For a
like
while it was everyone but him, and now I think it's only him.
Well, we may pop up other places, and I think Naomi's got to teach me how to use Instagram, so maybe we'll figure that out.
I would say check me out on TikTok. That's my fave.
Okay.
I'm 100 years older than anyone else on there, but it's fun.
Well, thank you guys so much. This has been a blast. Congratulations on all the success of 1BR so far. Now, best of luck as you're launching these other platforms, and we'll be looking for more news on the sequel in the future. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So join us next time. We're going to go back to the Gateway Film Center. We're going to do our first Fright Club of the year, we're going to show, as I've been hoping to do for 3 full years, we're going to show the classic, The Black Cat.
And that is on Friday the 13th.
Perfect.
How perfect is that? So if you're anywhere in the vicinity of Columbus, Ohio, please come join us at Gateway Film Center. That should be fun. We're going to talk about Be Our Guest. This is funny because we just got done talking here about apartments. We're going to be talking about unexpected guests in horror. So we're kind of continuing a theme here and show Black Cat. Yeah, that's going to be fun. So that is Friday, January 13th, next time. And please let us know what you thought about this conversation. Fantastic stuff.
Oh, yeah.
With Alok and Naomi. And get in touch anytime. Twitter, it's easy. Fright Club Pod, also on Facebook and Instagram. It's Mad Wolf Columbus. The main website, where you can find all of our movie reviews and our other weekly podcast about movies from all genres called The Screening Room. That's all there for you at madwolf.com. And don't forget our special Fright Club podcast group on Facebook. So members only, but we'd love to have you if you want to join and join in on the fun. We talk about horror movies. We laugh about horror movies and just enjoy the community and keep it rolling on Facebook. Just send a request for the Fright Club podcast group, and we'll admit you and get you in there and join the fun. So keep in touch. Again, thanks to Alok and Naomi. This has been a blast. Until next time, she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And this is the Fright Club podcast. Alok and Naomi, do the honors.
Stay
Frightful, my friend.
My friend.
Thank you, guys.